sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story live on the Dervan Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Both Sides 106. Email bothsides106 at live.com. Send your WhatsApp voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of the story.
Yeah, okay.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Hour 106.
Excellence is the result of caring more than others think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible. We're still in the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the International Decade for Indigenous Languages. It's the 25th day of the 7th month of 2024. Put another way, it's the 25th day of the 2nd month of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. The anniversary of the Seventh Republic is being celebrated in Burundi. It's Constitution Day in Puerto Rico, Foundation of Guayaquil Day in Ecuador. Spain is observing Galicia National Day and Santiago Day. It's Gospel Day in Rarotonga in the Cook Islands, Guanacaste Day in Costa Rica, Moncada anniversary in Cuba, Papa Auguste Saint-Jacques le Majeur on Haiti, and Republic Day in Tunisia. All we're saying is it is, let's see, it is the 25th of July, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And our attention has been drawn to a story in today's Observer. And the headline is Joe Bogdanovich reels in Roger Stephens's massive Marley collection for Jamaica. And it tells us that Down Sound Entertainment's chief executive officer, Joseph Bogdanovich, has reportedly closed a deal with Bob Marley expert Roger Stephens to bring a veritable trove of Bob Marley memorabilia and artifacts to Jamaica. Stephens's collection, which is widely acknowledged to include the largest and most comprehensive collection of Marley artifacts in the world, and it includes a t-shirt from Marley's famed 1978 One Love concert in Jamaica. It is a massive responsibility, Bogdanovich told Observer Online. I am excited because it is a huge responsibility to the culture of Jamaica. This is bigger than money, he says. Stephens collected his enormous archive for more than half a century, housing the memorabilia in his 6-bedroom Los Angeles house. Bogdanovich refused to disclose the final sum of the sale, but hinted that the media was slowly on the draw as he had acquired the collection a long time ago. The archive has been valued at as much as 3 million US dollars in the past, according to Variety. Of all the people who have tried to buy this collection for the past 37 years, he is the most qualified to do all the things necessary to preserve and promote it and to return this history to Jamaica without any political control, Stephens told Variety. In a previous article, The Observer suggested that a US $1 million price tag was the asking price during the previous round of negotiations to acquire Stephens's world-famous collection. Bogdanovich did not disclose the price the parties settled on. It's not about bidding or outbidding anyone. The question is, what are you going to do with this tremendous archive from a national collection perspective? Bogdanovich said. Bogdanovich will now assemble a team of curators and other creative individuals to ensure that the trove is displayed in the proper manner and that items such as a poster for Marley's July 21st, 1978 at Berkeley's Greek Theatre, autographed by Marley and the Wailers, are carefully preserved. To ensure this, Bogdanovich, one of 4 heirs to his grandfather Martin's Star-Kissed tuna fortune, plans to build it in Montego Bay and has hired Robert Santelli of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Grammy Museum as a creative advisor, Variety said. Stephens's archive includes incredible memorabilia, such as a used copy of the Wailers' first album, Catch a Fire, reggae posters, album covers, buttons, live cassettes, and interviews. And we could go on, but we'll leave it there for the time being. And there you go. Work done cannot be undone, eh? Bob Marley put in the work long time ago. We'll be back in just a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 2:15. At Barry's Hardware, we believe in quality, affordability, and value for money. We have all you need in building and hardware supplies: sand, gravel, cement, lumber, electrical and plumbing supplies, paints and conduits, wires, and more. Barry's Hardware, 15 chat is Place 866. Call 876-927-1849 or 876-977-4529. Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the Optical Zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, Rock Plaza, Happy Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
Buy a bag of Hydro Beats and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hydro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million, weekly prizes of $100,000 plus daily prizes. Enter by any qualifying Hydro feed and text the entry code in the bag for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hydro Farm to Fortune promotion. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Basic Gaming and Vouchers Act. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Kingston and St. Andrew take center stage on both sides of the story this Thursday, July 25. Tune in as Dervan Malcolm speaks with a number of stakeholders in these parishes as he discusses the success stories, issues, and challenges within Kingston and St. Andrew, especially as Jamaica continues to build back better from burial. Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Focus during both sides of the story is brought to you by Barry's Hardware, Patients First Pharmacy, Total Vision, and Lock Safe and Vault. That's Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Focus this Thursday, July 25, during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM. Over the last 2 weeks, we've witnessed how one Focal can full basket. Your small contribution has made a big difference in the lives of those who've been most impacted by Hurricane Beryl. And the drive continues. This time in Alligator Pond in Manchester, we're collecting non-perishable food items, tin goods, water, toiletries, batteries, flashlights, hey, whatever you can afford to assist our fellow Jamaicans in Manchester. Drop off an RJR Gleason at 32 Lyndhurst Road or 7 North Street, Kingston by midday on Saturday, July 27. We're on the road to recovery. Together, we can, we will make it happen. Come together.
So it's a special focus on the corporate area this afternoon on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. We start by looking at the rich history of Kingston and St. Andrew. The parish of Kingston is the capital of Jamaica and is located on the southeastern end of the island. Port Royal, which was originally separated from Kingston, is today part of the parish and is served by the same parochial body, with some nips and tucks here and there. Initially, it was Port Royal and not Kingston that originally held the interest of the world, as Port Royal was the headquarters of the English buccaneers or pirates, chief among them the famous Captain Sir Henry Morgan. Port Royal became wealthy from the goods that were pillaged from the Spanish, and as a result of the turbulent life of the town's inhabitants, Port Royal was dubbed as the wickedest city in the world. Until 1692, there was no such place as Kingston. Kingston came into existence in 1692 after a massive earthquake and tidal waves destroyed up to two-thirds of Port Royal and caused the deaths of about 3,000 inhabitants. The survivors fled to the Ligony Plain, where that's Ligony, Plain, Ligony Plain. The survivors fled to the Ligony Plain, where an even larger number perished from exposure and disease. As a result, 2 weeks after Port Royal's destruction, 200 acres of land known as Colonel Barry's Hog Crawl was purchased by the government from Sir William Beeston at a cost of £1,000. I'm sure you're hearing those familiar names, street names in downtown Kingston. Nicholas Laws, Beeston's attorney, sold Hog Crawl on behalf of Beeston, who was absent from the island at that time. This was done for the erection of a new town, Kingston. Early maps listed Kingston's name as Beeston, Beeston. This could have easily been said as the land was purchased from Sir William Beeston. In July 1692, plans for building the new town of Kingston by John Gough, a surveyor, were drawn up, and terms by which settlers could acquire land were issued. Port Royal was still the choice of residence by many persons because of the former grandeur. Consequently, this stalled the development of Kingston. As soon as the horrors of the earthquake were forgotten and a sense of normalcy was restored, migrants sailed back to Port Royal. This all came to a halt a few years later, however, when a catastrophic fire in 1703 completely destroyed most of what the earthquake had spared, as well as the buildings that were restored. Once again, Port Royal residents migrated to Kingston, most never to return. Soon after 1703, a law was passed declaring Kingston to be the chief seat of trade and head port of entry into the island. From this moment on, the prosperity of Kingston was assured, and in 1713, it was declared by law that the place should forever be taken and esteemed as an entire and distinct parish with all the powers of any other parish, and that further, it should have the right of sending 3 representatives to the assembly. More development of Kingston took place in the latter years as the population continued to grow. In 1842, the city received its first public water supply from the Hope River. It was dirty and unfiltered, but supplied approximately 1,600 homes. 3 years following that development, the railway to Spanish Town was opened on November 21st, 1845. In about the middle of the century, a coaling station, Coaling, a coaling station was established near the foot of East Street. This meant that steamers now called at Kingston on their way to Central and South America, and crews and passengers came on shore and spent a certain amount of money in the city. The idea of Kingston becoming the capital of Jamaica was first put forward by the governor of Jamaica, Admiral Charles Knowles, Knowles, Admiral Charles Knowles. Historians pointed out that somewhere around the mid-18th century, he sought to have the capital city moved from Spanish Town to Kingston. A reason for this, historians note, is because Kingston's port had a greater capacity than all other ports in the island combined. Also, because of its location, Kingston benefited from the trade in contraband with Spain's recalcitrant colonies in the Caribbean. Is so long that been going on? Because just this afternoon, oh goodness, where is it now? When you need it. There's a story that was published this afternoon. Bear with us, please, listeners, because there is a connection here. So some smuggling started in those early days. And let's see. This is not it. Oh my goodness. And I had it earlier on. It's all right. We'll come back to it if we're able to. So let's continue. Let's continue. Right. So the historians have pointed out that somewhere around the mid 18th century, he sought to have the capital city moved from Spanish Town to Kingston. A reason for this, historians note, is because Kingston's port had a greater capacity than all other ports in the island combined. Also, because of its location, Kingston benefited from the trade in contraband with Spain's recalcitrant colonies in the Caribbean. Not many shared the view of Knowles, especially because Kingston was merely 50 years old, and many thought that it could never succeed Spanish Town as a suitable capital, especially as Spanish Town had been the capital for 230 years. Admiral Knowles's proposal met with strong support from members of the Assembly from Kingston and other eastern parishes, and a harsh and vigorous opposition from members from Spanish Town and the western parishes. Eventually, steps were taken to make Kingston the capital of Jamaica by General Knowles, who sent the paperwork to Britain for it to be made into law. His successor, Henry Moore, announced in 1758 that the king had not allowed the bill making Kingston the capital city of Jamaica. As many years went by, the capital of Jamaica soon switched from Spanish Town to Kingston. In 1872, after over a century of lobbying by Kingston merchants, Kingston became the official capital of the island, primarily because the population of Kingston was rapidly increasing. Its location was said to be more in touch with the outside world through shipping and commercial activity in Kingston, eclipsed that of Spanish Town. All right, we're going to take a pause, let's take the break and come back with more in a little while.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now 2:30. This message is brought to you by the Jamaica Environment Trust. We have a right to a healthy environment. And the law so don't break our neck. Anybody who pollute can't speak of them. Don't just watch.
Oh, I went ahead of it. Okay. So, Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. And we were a little too previous, went ahead of you, listeners. And we are going to catch that up at 4 o'clock this afternoon in terms of the the history and development and growth of the capital city and in general the corporate area. So we'll pick that up in a little while, in an hour and a half or less than an hour and a half. We'll come back to that. But in the meantime, we are going to facilitate an interview or two. I think it's one interview. Right. Coming up between 3 and 4 this afternoon. So in the meantime, we will give you an opportunity to make your contribution, your message, your questions, your issues, whatever is on your mind. Please feel free to call 876-922-4112 876-922-4112. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And there is a Jamaican family that has been giving back to Jamaica, and we are looking forward to featuring that Jamaican family. And we have, as we said, to come back to the feature on Kingston and in general the corporate area. We'll come back to those as well. In the meantime, though, as we said, we are happy to give you an opportunity to express yourselves here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And we're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. And the text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. And thanks, as usual, to Franklin MacDonald for ensuring that my eyes stay on the prize, so to speak, in terms of this story of Roger Stephen's massive Marley connection. So we'll follow up on these stories as time goes by. In the meantime, we thank you for your listenership and support, and we continue to encourage dialogue, discussion, and a general attitude of creating and publishing data, information. Happy to have your input in that regard, as usual. In the meantime, though, while we stand by for those other interviews, we invite those of you who have been and continue to pay attention to the news at home and abroad. Here's your opportunity to debate and discuss as a global citizen of the world. So the lines remain open to you, 876-922-4112 to 5. That's 876-922-4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And perhaps also use the opportunity. I don't know if I'll be able to bring. There's a story I was trying to pull from the archives, but didn't get around to doing that. And let me see. Okay, here we go. So it's a story having to do with the Coast Guard. The U.S. Coast Guard has offloaded more than 96 million US dollars in illegal narcotics interdicted in the Caribbean Sea. That's the connection I was making when I shared the information about Kingston and what was said about it. Let's find that here. Up, let's go up a bit. That somewhere around the mid 18th century, he sought to have the capital city moved from Spanish Town to Kingston. A reason for this, historians note, is because Kingston's port had a greater capacity than all other ports in the island combined. Also, because of its location, Kingston benefited from the trade in contraband with Spain's recalcitrant colonies in the Caribbean. So a lot of what we still have to deal with and manage effectively here in Jamaica is exactly what used to happen in Kingston. And you heard the choice, the reason, if you missed it, because of its location. Kingston benefited from the trade in contraband with Spain's recalcitrant colonies in the Caribbean. So now we know. But it hasn't stopped, has it? Because here we are sharing the history, and at the same time, there's a live, can we say a live story, a real life story of the US Coast Guard offloading more than 96 million US dollars in illegal narcotics interdicted in the Caribbean Sea. You can read on. The story is in today's cleanup. Thank you very much for your attention as we continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. We're still taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. As we continue with more on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, let's share the information with you. The We Care Health Fair, which is scheduled for the 23rd was scheduled for the 23rd. It happened on the 23rd of June, the one for last year. This year's event, We Care Health Fair, is going to be on Friday of this week. And I would imagine it would be the same location as it was last year, Whitfield Town Church of God, 30 to 31 Whitfield Avenue, Kingston 13. Opening, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Lady Allen, and a wide range of services that will also be on offer, and the support of the likes of Grace and JN Bank. So the services that will be available on Friday: National Health Fund, Grace Kitchens, HIV testing, the counselors will be on hand, doctors, dentists. In fact, we should give you the full rollout of the areas. And this is a massive undertaking. So it will be HIV testing and counseling. Diabetes Association will be involved as well. We'll come back in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
You can depend on Total Vision for comprehensive eye care for the entire family. We test for glaucoma, cataracts, and other eye diseases. We have a wide selection of designer frames, prescription and colored lenses. Also available, Total Vision, Suite Number 3, Shadrock Business Center, Brands Crescent, Maypen, and 10 Hackett Park Road, Kingston. 986-4153 and 926-5126. Total Vision, where good vision is always in style. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is now accepting applications for the Dr. Barry Wint Memorial Scholarship. Jamaican citizens pursuing a first degree, master's, or PhD in any health-related field, including medical social work, human resources for health, nursing, dentistry, health economics, or any other, can qualify for up to $1 million per year for 5 years to complete their studies. Visit www.moh.gov.jm/scholarship for more details and to submit your application. Deadline date is Wednesday, July 31, 2024. We look forward to seeing your application. When the summer sun is just too much, cool down with frosty escapes and delicious summer recipes, all in the cleanest summer cookbook, Island Flavor, on July 25. Get expert tips on how to beat the heat in the kitchen and make the summer meals your best ever. Buy the Thursday Cleaner, July 25, for
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And just to sensitize those in the communities of interest in southern, what's that now? South St. Andrew. So the tests that will be offered at this health fair, which is organized by the Dorman family in Jamaica. It's quite extensive, the offerings. So there will be HIV testing, as we said, and counseling. The Diabetes Association will be on hand. There will be vision checks. That means checking the eyes, cholesterol checks, body mass index, blood sugar, and ATC. I haven't learned yet what is ATC, or it looks like A1C as well. A1C, maybe it's A1C. physical therapist, JDF massages, and help with injuries, joint care, etc. The Bashi bus will also be there. Edutainment with focus on diabetes and general wellness. 9 medics from the Jamaica Defense Force. BP, I believe that's blood pressure, blood sugar, wound care, etc. 5 nurses will be supporting the doctors, and they will do the usual triage. Nurse Chisholm Ford is included in this count. 7 doctors, inclusive of the 4 recent graduates not yet licensed, working on supervision of Dr. Bridget French. Also on offer, back to school medicals. Very important that the children get their checkup before being admitted to school. It is critical. It is critical. Because the last thing you want, well, let me not go there. We know it's critical, and it is. So back to school medicals, all kinds of general practitioner matters, and they tell us they will show short videos on diabetes care under the registration tent. And note, so we must congratulate the Ministry of Health because they're already pressed in terms of resources, and therefore you would think that they're having now to stretch their resources in order to cover everybody, so to speak. And they'll also be having counseling. I think I mentioned that earlier on. Health counseling. And they tell us they will try their best to accommodate as many persons as possible. And they tell us that they're offering what they have. The wellness and care packages will be distributed after, we're told, after the participants are served and complete the feedback form. If you have questions or, if you have any questions, feel free. I mean, the specific area, I know it's in, let me just remind myself of the address, but it's in Whitfield town, and we're going to come back to that. Let's see if we can check out one of these messages coming in from South Manchester. I wonder what's the latest there in South Manchester? Well, we'll find out. Rico, a listener who goes by the moniker Rico, says, Sir D, South Manchester is lagging behind. No electricity in Grovetown to Plowden to Rudd's Corner. No JPS units are seen in the area. We request the Guyanese Power Service team as soon as possible from concerned citizens. So this is Rika on behalf of concerned citizens. And clearly they're still having issues, electricity issues. Oh dear. We really trust and hope that those who are furthering the restoration efforts, that they will be able to once and for all slay this monster, in a manner of speaking, so that we can get back to life and business, welfare, etc. All the work that still needs to be done in the face of the remnants of, or what is left of the Hurricane Beryl. So, what can we do from this position other than to send a shout out to the team from the Jamaica Public Service Company and their support systems and staff? Here's a message that we have received from South Manchester. They tell us that South Manchester is lagging behind. Winsome Callum, are you hearing this? Audrey Williams, are you hearing? They're telling us the people of the community of South Manchester are telling us there's no electricity in Grovetown, or from Grovetown to Plowden to Rudd's Corner. No JPS units, they tell us, have been seen in the area. And so they're saying that they're requesting the Guyanese Power Service team as soon as possible. And this person goes by the moniker Concerned Citizens. We hope somebody got the message, somebody who can make a decision or take action or taking steps to lessen the impact on an already burdened system. That is as much as we can say at the moment on the basis of the information that has been shared. But we want to just encourage the Dorman family as they continue their efforts. And so the health fair, just for the record, if you missed it before, those of you who are in the Whitfield Town area, Whitfield Avenue, Whitfield Town, in fact, the event will unfold at the Whitfield Town Church of God. That's where, and we'll give you some more information in just a moment. Just a moment. But in the meantime, sensitize the people in your community, those who are in the Whitfield Town area, Whitfield Avenue, Kingston 13, stand by. The We Care Health Fair is coming your way in a day's time, tomorrow. It's scheduled for tomorrow. Yes, isn't it? Tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow is Friday, the 27th. All right, so get ready for the information. Spread the word. Tell your families, friends, neighbors about the We Care Health Fair, which is coming to your community. and stand by for that. We'll check the information as well, just to ensure that the message gets out. So that's tomorrow, the 26th of July, 2024. And we are going to be connecting with a member of the Dervan family, who will then just give us a bit more of the background of why the family decided to start staging this health fair, which has been going on for quite a few years now. And that will help others to understand why they continue to do what they have been doing in terms of taking care of the health needs of the needy. And so we're going to play our part in helping to tell that story here on both sides of the story. But we'll do that right after the break.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock. Patient's First Pharmacy is your new and modern choice. Located at Shop 7 Global Plaza in Grand Spen, close to the intersection of Grand Spen Road and Constant Spring Road. WhatsApp your prescriptions to 876-302-5181. Can't find it? We'll source it for the next day pickup. We open Mondays to Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call us now at 876-678-5181 for more info. Patient's First Pharmacy, your new and modern choice. For the best in high-quality footwear, accessories, and professional service, Sammy's Shoe Store is your answer. They have been satisfying your needs for dress shoes, school shoes, athletic shoes, and work shoes for over 50 years, with 5 stores downtown King Street, Sovereign Village, Portmore, Prairie Plaza, Halfway Tree, Boulevard Super Center, Pembroke Hall, and Cumberland Road, Spanish Town, or shop online at sammysja.com. Sammy's, the shoe people, will be here to meet your back-to-school needs for another 50 years.
Yo, catch the man on the new car. Come in, my Jenna, make with the road. Yo, bro, stop the foolishness. We don't need to drive so fast. Easy now, youth. You see the man a big driver. Road, hold up here now.
Yo, bro, stop the car and make me come out. You need to drive better.
Road safety begins with you. A message from the Road Safety Unit.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. We are about to feature the We Care Health Fair, which is scheduled for tomorrow, Friday, the 26th of July, 2024, from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. But first, let's get, let's get some background from the family badge of honor for meritorious service. I was trying to remember it, but yes, I just had to do that out off the top of my head. I hope I got it right. I think it's BHM, badge of honor for BHM, badge of honor for meritorious service. And she can correct me when she comes on if I didn't get it right. Let's say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Mrs. Carol Dorman Higgins.
Good afternoon. Good
Good,
afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us. And did I mix up the letters
No,
following your
I
name?
don't think you did.
Okay.
You're probably more familiar than I am. No, you didn't. You did a good job as usual.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you give us a bit of background as to how this health fair, the We Care health fair, got started?
Oh, We Care Health Fair, so Levina M. Dorman, We Care Health Fair, born out of grief, but inspired by a mother who cared and used to give out the Islam caring and sharing. So on her passing 20 years ago, I cannot believe it's 20 years ago, in 2004, her children, as her children, we were plunged really low, grief, deep grief. But after a little, no, I wouldn't say a little, after several years, we decided that we wanted to honor her even as we continued to mourn the loss. And as the years have rolled on, we have seen that in living out her legacy of caring and sharing, it has been an easier journey. We still miss her. It's been 20 years. But that's why we started doing what's called We Care Health Fair. That's it.
Yes. And it must be quite a task pulling together uh, individuals, institutions, organizations uh, for this We Care, this Leela M. Dorman We Care Health Fair.
Yes, it is. And immediately as we get done, we take a pause and then we start thinking about what's next. We really have to start early to think about a theme and to start approaching individuals. But we do have a team of support, solid support, and so we can rely on individuals to help us and our church, Whitfield Town Church of God, which is the church Mommy attended. The members from the church, family members, and close friends, we move at trying to make this event one which really impacts as many lives as possible in the Whitby Town community primarily, but all over the island. We have been to other places, and now that we are a legally registered charity, it is our intention to even go further and to do more in honor of Leela Dorman. So yes, it is quite a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
How has the community responded to the continuing support and interest and general uh, approach to giving back? How has that been received? How is it being
I
received?
think it has been very well received by the people of the community and even by the representatives of the community because for the past several years, our Member of Parliament, Dr. Angela Brown Burr, or the Councillor, Mr. Eugene Kelly, and in instances, the JLP representative would show up at the opening ceremony. And usually we have Her Excellency Lady Allen there as our unofficial patron supporting us. And the people of the community see that as important to them that they are hosting an event and bringing in their representatives. And even in one instance, we took them to do a tour of King's House and to go to Rockport Mineral Bath at the time. So that they see that we are interested in their health. They are interested in ensuring that the event goes as orderly as it can. And they're usually out in their hundreds to be supportive and advantage of the health screening and all the offerings. Sometimes it's about a lot of information. Sometimes it's about interacting with government agencies, getting your NIS application in, information and NHS. So they really appreciate it because it is also very convenient because we go in the community, take the agencies and the service providers in and try to serve as best as we can.
Mhm. And is the location remains the same, right? In,
Pretty much. There's always an annual event around the 23rd of June,
Mhm.
which is hosted at Woodfield Town Church and the Multipurpose Center. But we have been to Yallah's St. Thomas, Yallah's Baptist in the year that my sister Yvonne passed, 2017. And we intend to go to other locations this year in particular because my father was born in St. Elizabeth. My sister Donna and I were born in St. Elizabeth. We feel, particularly for those who have suffered extensively because of Hurricane Beryl, and so it is our intention to do an initiative by next week in St. Elizabeth as we try to respond to some of the needs there.
Oh, so you're extending, would this be the first time that you're extending to St. Elizabeth?
Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be. And we have a friend through church. We made contact, and that person is from the Whiskey Zone community, married and now living in South St. Elizabeth. So Simone Lewis and her husband, Reverend Lewis, they are all contacts in St. Elizabeth in the South, and we intend to go down. And there's an initiative which we have forged with the owner of a farm store. So we will be giving out some vouchers with the assistance of the people on the ground, and they will also try to target the back to school things that are needed. And that's what we want to try to provide. And again, we have friends and family, local and overseas, who have been helping us. And I'm aware that Ruach City Church in London, which is the church that Orville attends, they have given support too to the hurricane, post hurricane relief. So yes, it should be something in the next comment.
Yes. And how, and I'm just checking, how how has it been uh, going through the the customs
You mean to get
to
the
get the
items?
supplies and so on?
We
How did
have
that go?
not
Sorry.
had challenges, and we. What is interesting is that we are diverting resources because some of the items had come in, but we believe that sometimes the priorities have to be rearranged. So some of the items that had already come in for the charity, and sometimes the items come in to the church, and we use them to help people. So we have not had any issues that any of the ports, airport, seaport, no, we have been able to clear, we have the relevant paperwork, so we clear the items, and we've not had a problem with that.
And how have you managed to be able to? Because usually it's what I see, and I have no doubt it will be the same this year, all things being well. The the extent to which there is there is an understanding as to the approach that is being taken, and once that approach is taken, it's expected that it's all systems go. It doesn't result in people being upset of time issues, etc. So you must also have a very good professional relationship to be able to benefit from that kind of service.
Uh, we're talking about what now? Custom?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we don't have any specific relationship or contact. We have the relevant paperwork. We know what they require. Sometimes I feel a little bit, hmm, what's the best adjective? Maybe I should leave it out. But sometimes I would prefer if we didn't have to provide some of the things requested, but the fact is, I know they are needed, and so when we're getting the gift, we indicate you need to send a letter, you need to give us an idea of the value of the item. It is required, even though the duties are waived, it is required. So we try to get what is required, and we try to get in the items well before we need them. Because some of the items, as I said, we are going to be taken into this event. It's a redirecting of items that we already had and would have given in packages in the receipt zone community. But we are going to share what we have and redirect it. So I guess the idea is find out what is required and try to meet the requirements and do what you have to do early. If you have an event and you know you will have an event from January, we know we're having an event in June or July. So we can start approaching those who are interested. We know our donors. We can approach them. Sometimes they initiate. They'll just say, I'm sending on a barrel. Like I have a friend who says once per month, she sends a barrel with food items. And so we've benefited from that twice. But she just gives it to anybody. So, I mean, it's all about knowing what's required and trying to make sure that you comply. And if you have an issue, do not be afraid to escalate it. Because when I had issues, I escalated and I never really had any problem that was never ever addressed.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hold it right there for a moment, Mrs. Higgins, Mrs. Dorman Higgins. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 3:15.
Get an early start to your back to school preparations with the Argentina Communications Group Back to School Bazaar. Saturday, July 27, starting at 9 a.m. Dervan House South Lawn will transform into your back to school headquarters with everything you need for the new school year. Books, bags, lunch kits, stationery, art supplies, school shoes, and a whole lot more at the best prices. Plus fun for the whole family and giveaways all day. Saturday, July 27. Book your booth spaces now. Call our marketing department at 926-1100. That's 926-1100. Sponsored by Chris and Charles Investments, Overseas Examination Commission, the Students' Loan Bureau, Consumer Affairs Commission, Old MacDonald Farms, Jamaica Civil Service Association, Kendall, Digicel Foundation, Lysol, Sally's Shoe Store, Sanctus Bookstores, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Our very special guest is still with us. She's Mrs. Carol Dorman Higgins, BHM. And that is, oh, come on now. I got it right earlier on. That is Badge of Honor for Meritorious Service. Badge of Honor for Meritorious Service. And just sharing the information on the continuous support that the We Care Health Fair, let's get that right as well, the Leela M. Dorman We Care Health Fair, to keep it going. And it is continuing. It's happening tomorrow, Friday, the 26th of July 2024. They'll start at 9 in the morning and go until 4 in the afternoon. And the location is Whitfield Town Church of God, 31 Whitfield Avenue, Kingston 13. And the overarching theme is I choose a healthy lifestyle. I choose a healthy lifestyle. There are lots of services, Ministry of Health, blood pressure check, blood sugar, body mass index, cholesterol check. Diabetes Association of Jamaica will be involved as well. Uh, this one is Doppler. I'll have to check that out. Vision testing, health presentation, HIV testing, medical checks, pediatrician, doctors, immunization. The prayer council will be on hand as well. And prizes and surprises, edutainment. And there's the Bashi bus that travels from community to community in support of a healthy lifestyle. So spread the word in Whitfield Town and surrounding areas. The Leela M. Dorman We Care Health Fair happening this Friday, the 26th of July, from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. We trust it will be a wonderful experience for you. Right, Mrs. Dorman Higgins?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Without health, I don't know what else matters. So we really need to make this choice because we have a lot of issues with the lifestyle diseases. And if we can prevent some things by just as the Ministry of Health says, knowing your numbers, by moving, a lot of change, a lot of positive change, a lot of reduction in our expenses. If we are healthy, we can be happier, we live longer, and have a better life. So we want to encourage people to come out. Services are free. So far, we have 10 doctors. This year, we'll have the JDF participating as well. One of their doctors, a physiotherapist, medics, nurse from the JDF, so they will be on in the community, interacting with the people in the so-called inner city community in another light, in a very positive light. So we're happy about that. This is our 13th staging of the event, and we are also happy to have the Restorative Justice Center from Greenwich Farm. They will be there sharing information on dispute resolution and alternative ways. And we also have the police, community health and safety, that branch of the police will be there too. And of course, we have individuals who will be home praying for us because we need prayer to undergird us to ensure that all that needs to happen for the benefit of the individuals who participate happen. So yes, we're looking forward and we're encouraging individuals to come out early because it's first come, first serve. And for the corporate entities that gave us merchandise and the pharmaceuticals so that we can prepare the care packages, we want to say thanks for the family members, friends, local overseas who have given to us. So many of them want to remain anonymous, but we want to acknowledge the category and to say a special thank you. My brother Orville and his wife Angela, they are here. Isaiah Raymond here from England. My cousin Doreen is here from the United States of America. So there are those who have come in and there are those who are here, and we are ready to serve. Whatever hitches or hiccups we face, we just try to work through them when they arrive. Not a perfect word, but we definitely know that we are able to please.
How much of a difference is there usually from year to year? It's just pretty much standard approach according to military precision, etc.
Meaning what the offering?
Yeah, just generally how each year turns out. And
Yeah, sometimes we have more of government agents. Like this year, we wanted to do a heavy focus on diabetes, and we wanted to do a heavy focus on just getting medical checks done. So we brought in a lot of doctors, and we have the Diabetes Association in, and they are going to be doing, checking the eyes I don't know, I think they're having a challenge with even getting podiatrists to come and do the foot care that we need to have done. So each year we try to focus on some health related aspects of our life. But it's pretty much that, and also information sharing. And we try to expose schools in the community. But now that schools are on holidays, we gotta use the Bashibos Children's Spurs to do the edutainment because we blend in the creative arts in what we are doing too during that little opening ceremony. And we're just trying to educate, inform, and embolden those who feel scared to go or those who lack the resources to go. And we know dental care is expensive, so we try to offer that. We don't offer it every year, but we try to offer where the needs are.
Mhm. I'm to me looking on, it seems like it clockwork, like you have it all together in terms of putting this Leela M. Dorman We Care Health Fair together. It's
When we have checklists, and as I said, we have a team, and
mhm,
we stir one another to good works, and when we as siblings cannot see eye to eye, we know to yield, and we have outside third parties who can say, I would suggest this. So it helps. And then Orville was in the army, and he's about all the discipline that he learned there, and he still does a lot of security work. So that helps.
mhm.
It helps though if he says no, the officer said they will be there at 10, so I have to be there for 10. So we the various strengths we try to use to advance the cause. Donna, she's the educator, so she always wants us to be doing something that's educating the
Yes.
people. It's not just about offering the service, it's educating with a view to empowering
Mhm.
so that they can continue with this choice of living a healthy lifestyle. So I guess it's all of us lending what we have to offer and drawing on our circle of support so that we can deliver it. And as I said, we have those who cannot attend, but they stay home, we know, and they are praying. And they probably are listening out for an interview on your program because they know it happens. So we have all kinds of support
Yes.
that helps to make it, as you say, like clockwork, it happens.
And what is the impact on the community like at the end of the day when all is said and done?
And at the end of the day, there are persons who have discovered issues health related. So that's positive. And our church operates a clinic. So our nurse Sandra Chisholm Ford, she's able to continue to serve. The clinic can grow from the health sphere. It also causes the church to be seen in a relevant and positive light
Mhm.
because we really don't have any enemies in the community. We don't have break-ins. We don't have those kinds of challenges. The people see the church because of the health fair and the link to the church. They see the church as really extending. Our Matthew passage that we use really is about extending help to people. So I think the people receive it well and they're helpful when we go down to get things done. People lend a hand to help you to get things to offload, to put up, to signs, lift off things. Yeah, and for their own personal health. I mean, there are so many persons who, one young lady said, it's a pap smear I did that caused me to realize I need to do so. It's a check that showed that my blood count was low that caused me to do so. So, I mean, we have testimonials that cause us to feel like it is impacting lives and we just continue and continue. And this year, we are literally going to start documenting now. We have a feedback form that we are
Mm.
going to complete after the service. Right?
All right, stepping it up.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So, based on what you said now, you wouldn't normally keep the data in terms of interaction between patients and
No,
caregivers.
no. We have stats on the numbers who would have benefited from various services, but
Okay.
now we're trying to capture the feedback and also not just to hear that they're benefiting, but to see
Mhm.
how we can improve how we offer what we're offering.
Okay. Well, We're looking forward to the event tomorrow. Can you just whet our appetite a little more, please?
Well, I would say that without good health, I don't know, with all the wealth in the world, if you don't have good health, as we have seen, in, I mean, in so many instances, it becomes quite challenging for those who love and care for us. And so I really would encourage individuals to come out and take advantage. We are taking it to you. We are taking it to you. So you really should come out and take advantage because you are going to leave with the benefit,
Hmm.
life-changing benefits. So
That's
I would
right.
say come and take advantage. Come and know your numbers. Come and
Mhm.
know, come and be exposed to information that will help you to live a better life, take better care of your children. I mean, these healthcare professionals are sacrificing. They don't charge us to
Mhm.
come, the doctors, that is, the therapists. They don't charge us to come. They are giving to the community because they know the value of good health.
That's
So
right.
we really should come quickly and behave orderly so that they can do their work. We will be doing medicals, and I'm reminding the parents, guardians, you have to show that the medical is to be done, otherwise it cannot be done for the children. So come out, whatever your issue, whatever your age, and even if you don't know if you have an issue, just say, sit down and get up and walk for something. There's some kind of proverb that says when you walk, you may get something, and you sit down and get nothing. So come on over, walk on over.
All
30,
right.
31 would be that the new chances are you would be with something.
That sounds like an ad.
I would say
Well,
paid for by with sponsor, I'm sure.
well. We really enjoyed this conversation, Mrs. Carol Dorman Higgins,
Thank you very much.
BHM.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Thank you very much for accommodating us in more ways than one. We appreciate it
Well,
and
you know
we
what we always
appreciate the
say,
value. Mm-hmm.
you're the ones doing the heavy lifting.
Uh,
We just feel so privileged to be able to share your work at home and abroad.
Thanks a lot.
Well done.
Thank you. On
Thank you very
behalf of
much.
all of
Mm.
us.
Indeed. Bye bye. That was Mrs. Carol Dorman Higgins, BHM, and that's Badge of Honor for Meritorious Service. And she has been sharing with us the details of the upcoming Leela M. Dorman We Care Health Fair. More in just a moment.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:31 on Power 106.
Over the last few weeks, we've witnessed how 1-1 Cocoa can full basket. Your small contribution has made a big difference in the lives of those who've been mostly affected by Hurricane Beryl. And the drive
Hey,
continues.
fine, thanks. How
This
are
time
you?
in Alligator Pond, Manchester, we're collecting non-perishable food items in good
let's get your perspective on how things have been unfolding generally since news broke.
Since we last spoke, well, certainly Sunday was seemed like a week. It didn't seem like a day. It was a very long day. Lots of things happened since we spoke last Thursday. President Joe Biden, of course, announced that he was not going to be running for re-election. And then within a matter of a couple of hours, he endorsed his vice president to run. And that that started a lot of fury because I should say fire, not fury, fire, because with all of the calls for President Biden to not run for re-election, there was no name coming forward as to who then should the Democrats choose. And so many persons were concerned that the vice president was going to be stepped over. But I think President Biden nipped that in the bud very quickly when he then, in a matter of a couple of hours, said that he was going to be endorsing her. So a lot of things had to happen. And for all intents and purposes, she is the nominee because the delegates, we in the United States voted earlier this year during primaries for who should be the nominee for both parties. And what we actually voted for was a slate of delegates. So the delegates that were all, I don't even know if this guy Dean Jones got any delegates because he at one point was trying to run for the presidency. But let's just say 99% of the delegates were all Biden delegates. So when you go to the convention, there's a roll call from each state, and the states have to say, we have, let's say you have Omaha, let's say Nebraska has 250 delegates. They would get up and say Nebraska gives their 250 delegates to Joe Biden. So what had to happen in a very short time was to get the commitment of those delegates to now say they would vote at the roll call for for Kamala Harris. They're going to give their votes to her. And they did. Within about 24, 36 hours, they got enough of the delegates to commit where she would be over the top, even if there was going to be a challenger. So there is no challenger right now. Certainly somebody could go to the convention in a couple of weeks and try to create an issue. But the fact of the matter is that she still has enough delegates in order to secure the nomination. So she's campaigning as such. The Biden-Harris fundraising machinery has now switched over to the Harris machinery, and of course the 50 state Democratic parties are now in full swing. So a lot has changed. It's clearly energized the party. It's also energized some people who were kind of sitting on the fence. The voter registration has gone up by thousands since Sunday, and they're seeing demographics of persons between 18 and 34 who are now jumping into be registered, where they had probably would have sat out the election. They are now jumping forward. So there's a different energy from a week ago. Certainly in terms of all of the calls over the last or the previous 2 to 3 weeks had begun to damage President Biden. Whether they were warranted or not, they were beginning to damage him, make him look weak as a candidate. And so his stepping down, I think, was probably a result of that, stepping down from the nomination. But the energy now is definitely, and the momentum is definitely with the Democrats. It's up to them to sustain it moving forward. So I think the gloom that was being felt by Democrats have lifted since he's saying that he's not running, and then who subsequently is running. Because he could have said he's not running, left it up to an open convention or somebody else step in, and we would have been in a state of disarray and uncertainty. So now it's a matter of segueing into fully into the Harris campaign.
Mhm. And what can you, what's the outlook from where you sit insofar as you're able to say?
It's looking very promising. As I said, record number of registrations, um, fundraising through the roof. I've lost track of the number at this point. Over 120 million in probably close to 72 hours, but certainly the 24-hour um, fundraising total was tremendous. There's so many different groups popping up, which says to me that there's a coalition of persons who are coming together to support the vice president. On Sunday night, the same night of the changeover, I was on a call with 44,000 other women,
Whew.
Black women, who had come together to support the vice president, and within 4 hours, they raised $1.5 million US in donations. So it's a different ball game, different ball game. Um, Dervan, you've been around long enough to know that a week in politics is a long time.
Very long
Yeah.
time.
I'm telling you, that one day Sunday was a whole week in my life. So lots going on, lots to be excited about. We know that there's a lot at stake. We've been talking about what's at stake on this program for a long time.
Yes.
And particularly last Thursday, you may have detected that I was a little heavy.
That's
I was
fine.
a little heavy because I was concerned that all of the calls were beginning to damage the president. The public calls for him to step aside. But he did what he thought was the right thing, and it turns out that it's put the party in a whole different light, moving towards a more positive outcome and outlook.
One moment, please, Ms. Delia. Let's take the break and come back on today's edition of Your Legal Corner with U.S. immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:45.
When the summer sun is just too much, cool down with frosty escapes and delicious summer recipes.
You're listening to Your Legal Corner with U.S. immigration attorney Delia Walker Huntington here on Power 106 FM as we get updates on how things have been unfolding since last Thursday. Well, we have been fed with a lot of information in that regard, and it all makes us what's it the expression someone once said, curiouser and curiouser or something like that. No, but seriously, it's been one of those weeks, and
It has.
yes,
Unprecedented.
Yes. So then, what is, and again, insofar as you're able to say, what can we, well, if I say, ask it that way, anywhere me turn, Maka joke me in Jamaican expressions. I'm trying, maybe, maybe take it from another position. So I get the impression that there are a few firsts, or more than a few. Maybe you can if you can share that information with us, Miss Delia, in terms
Well,
of things. Yeah, some of the firsts that have come
yes.
out of this so far.
Well, certainly, Kamala Harris has been the first in just about everything that she's done. She was the first female district attorney in San Francisco, the first female um, attorney general for the state of Florida, uh, the first Black and South Asian female senator from California, first female vice president, and she becomes now the first female Black and South Asian candidate walking into the role of nominee for President of the United States. If you recall, she did mount a run in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and she stepped out of the race before the first primaries. She stepped out in November or December of 2019 for the first primaries in 2020, and then was picked in August of 2020 to be the vice president. So certainly the her being Black, female, South Asian, Jamaican, a lot of firsts that comes together in this one package. But I think it helps to make her unique. And as I said in 2020, and I'll say it again, that she is representative of the new America.
Mm-hmm.
It is enthralling for someone like me, but it's also frightening for some people who want America to remain a certain way and to roll back. I think her words today is that we're not going back. We're not going back. So there's a lot of it's really an election. Been following politics for a long time, and I've heard before, oh, this is the most consequential election of our lifetime, and this and that, as people try to contrast themselves to an opposing candidate. But when you look at the two candidates at the top of the ticket here, they couldn't be more different. They couldn't be more different in who they are, what they represent, and where they want America to go. So if you can't see the difference and you can't pick a side, then there's a problem, because there's a stark, they're polar opposites, stark differences here. So it's left to be seen how the momentum can be maintained going forward.
I was monitoring, and somebody said something about her name, because of somebody, I don't know who, whether the pronunciation was off.
Well, I think some people purposefully mispronounce her name. Her name is Kamala. It's Kamala Devi Harris. It's not Kamala or Kamala.
Right.
It's Kamala.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Pardon me?
That's what I thought. I've been getting it right. Ooh,
Yes, but
yes.
it's been done. Even when she went in the U.S. Senate,
Mm-hmm.
some of the senators on the opposing side purposely mispronounce her name, or they can't call her name, and usually older men of a certain persuasion who do it. And she's used to it. She knows what's coming, and so she just has to keep focused and moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And any information in terms of what happens for the rest of this week going into the weekend?
Well, there are just numerous calls that are being done. This group, that group, lots of different calls that are going on, mobilizing. I think is what is happening this week. A rapid mobilization of support, not just directly from the party itself on a national and on a statewide level and a county-wide level, but also different groups. So support groups are coming forward, to step up to the plate to make sure that their constituents of these various organizations and groups and demographics are coalescing behind her.
Yes. And then there are those who were, I don't think it was directly attributed to her, but those who generally, I'm not sure of all the details in terms of why the demonstration, but that was a part of the
Demonstrating against her,
no,
or just don't like her, or not
no,
supporting her.
no, not at all. I wasn't thinking of her. It's the protesters that protest that was taking place.
But in
I don't know if it's.
Washington,
I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
well, I know that there were, and yesterday and today, some heavy protests in Washington against Bibi Netanyahu.
Yes.
So from all sides, it was interesting to see the protests from so many different angles. So yes, and of course, everything she does now is going to be overly scrutinized.
Oh yes.
The fact that she was not in Congress yesterday, is being
Criticized.
looked at, and while he was speaking. But it is what it is. But I can say that it bodes better, certainly for immigrants from around the world, if if there is a Democrat in the White House as opposed to who is leading right now in on the other side, who's a nominee on the other side, because we don't have to guess about certain things. We've been through this before, and we've also seen Project 2025. We've seen what it says. We've read summaries. We've read recaps. It's in plain language, what will happen. So you vote accordingly.
So Project 2025 is
that is the Republicans' playbook for what they want to see a Republican administration do, and what their plans are going forward.
Okay.
And it's very negative from a perspective of my perspective. And it is, it's a little frightening, to be quite honest with you. It's a little frightening. There are things such as eliminating the Department of Education, Department of Commerce. We who live in Florida have seen some of it, or some samples of it being rammed on us by a Republican-led state legislature and governor, in terms of books that are banned, words that can't be used. So taking that countrywide, it is unnerving and unsettling. So if you don't know what it is, I suggest you go ahead and Google Project 2025, especially for those living in America and listening to this program, because there are a lot of things beyond immigration
and
we need to be concerned about.
And any rush this time? I remember there was a previous situation where people rushed the border, the southern.
I did see something that there are 2,000, there's a group of 2,000 on their way to the border because they've gotten word to come now because they're afraid that if the Republicans gain the White House, they're going to close the border. But one thing we have to note is that the groups of people who are coming, this is not just an organic movement. They are getting notices on their phones about what to do, when to stop, where to go. And so these poor people are being played. They're being orchestrated and played. Because as we talked about on the program, there is a process if you're coming from certain countries in order to apply for permission to come across the border. And if you come to the border with permission, they're going to turn you back. But people it's really heartbreaking. People are being played. Even within our own community, we talked a few weeks ago about this parole in place program that Biden, by executive order, was going to allow some spouses of American citizens who have been married for 10 years or more, but are not able to adjust their status. He's now giving them a way to get to a green card. And the moment it was announced, before any form is even initiated, the process, people were already scamming persons in America, telling them to give them money, expanding the program beyond what it is. So I really want to tell people to be very careful. And next week we can go some more into what that program is. But I really want to encourage our people that you need to ensure that you're getting your information from an attorney. You need to, because so many times we see notarios and paralegals giving false information, and then they pack up and move. And you have no recourse against them. And a lot of times they do it to people who are undocumented because they believe these people can't go to the police against me, and I will be able to get away with it. And they also don't have any organization that controls what they do or regulates them. They're just loose cannons out there. So we can talk about that some more next week.
Sure.
Dervan.
No problem. Thank you, as usual, for keeping your finger on the pulse of these and other related matters.
My pleasure.
So we'll talk again, all things being well, next week.
Yes, indeed. Have a wonderful week. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much for staying with us on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Standing by for another feature here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And let's see how this will unfold as we get ready for our next guest here on Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We need to take a break. Let's take the break and come back.
You've just listened to Your Legal Corner, your source of information for all matters regarding U.S. immigration. Join us next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. for Your Legal Corner during Both Sides of the Story, right here on Power 106 FM. At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
2 minutes past 4 o'clock.
Power 106 FM. The 50-30-20 rule. Creating a budget can help you make confident decisions and enjoy peace of mind. A detailed budget, though, can be complex to manage. For one easy way to plan your spending, you may try using the 50-30-20 rule. It splits expenses into just three categories and also offers recommendations on how much money to use for each. The 50-30-20 rule recommends putting 50% of your money towards needs, 30% towards wants, and 20% towards savings. The savings category also includes money you will need to realize your future goals. Power 106 FM, the digital sound, and now reaching you in more ways. Listen to us on 106.1 to 106.9 on the FM band. You can also listen to us on the Power 106 FM app, which you can download on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can tune in on your mobile phones by dialing 631-359-8281 if you're in the US. And if you're in the UK, you can dial 0330-606-0953. Plus, listen to us on onespotmedia.com and the OneSpot Media app, or log on to go-jamaica.com. Power 106 FM, where all views can contend, giving you powerful talk radio in so many ways, on air and online.
Both sides of the story.
Confidence in those who serve, especially in the public sector, is vital to Jamaica's progress towards Vision 2030 and beyond. Many people have quietly and diligently given sterling service over the years to the benefit of many Jamaicans at home and across the world. Power 106 FM, in playing its part in showcasing those individuals who served in building our nation and to create greater public understanding and appreciation of their sacrifice, presents the feature Service Stalwarts. Listen to Service Stalwarts every Wednesday at 4 p.m. during Both Sides of the Story with Dervan right here on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
Jesus, oh Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the words of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony here on the Lord's side.
Poor roads a major concern? What about those drains that are in need of repair or cleaning? Who's responsible for repairing my road, and when will it be done? Join us this and every Tuesday morning at 8 during Morning Agenda as we travel on our roads with the National Works Agency and get answers to these and other concerns. You're welcome to visit their website at www.nwa.gov.jm. See the tender notices link for projects to be undertaken. You may also call them toll-free at 1-888-429-5NWA. That's 1-888-429-5692. Or follow them on Twitter at NWA_JA and Facebook at www.facebook.com/NWA Jamaica. The National Works Agency, developing safe, reliable, and quality roads.
Both sides of the story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story.
Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Focus during Both Sides of the Story is brought to you by Barish Hardware, Patients First Pharmacy, Total Vision, and Lock Safe and Vault.
Thanks a lot for staying with us on this special edition of Both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. It's Kingston and St. Andrew corporate area parish focus. And we are eager to find out the nature and extent of Beryl's impact on the economy of East Rural St. Andrew, the impact on agricultural resources, especially coffee, the extent of infrastructural damage, etc. And who best to, or better, to tell us more than the managing director of Mavis Bank Coffee Factory, and I'm sure there's another hat or two around somewhere. Mr. Norman Grant, good afternoon. It's been a while, goodness. Mr. Grant, are you there? Hello? Norman Grant, are you there? Hello? Hello? Okay, let's try and reconnect in just a moment. Thank you very much. Mr. Norman Grant, great greetings to you. How are you, sir?
Greetings, my brother and friend, and I salute you and all of your listeners across the length and breadth of Jamaica, and we are giving thanks because we have life.
Amen to that. So where would you like to start with respect to the impact, to give us an idea of what the impact has been like so far on the economy of East Rural St. Andrew? And we'll go ahead.
Yeah, it has been very bad. Firstly, the roads, we have a constant problem with the roads. So there are a number of block roads. The NWA, the parish council, the member of parliament, there are actions that have been taken to create single lane, and they are now coming back to clear, sections of the roadways that's leading, from like Pepin God Town up to Mavis Bank, St. Peter's. There are still some challenges in the Ozolite era. There's a major breakaway in Ozolite, and it created a lot of instability for both the soil on the top and the bottom, and there were issues in citizens moving in and out, but the citizens came in and they make some tracks, so that's going to need a lot of walls. There was one up in Top Mountain as well. So throughout the Blue Mountain belts, I met with a farmer up in Top Mountain, and he says, he was barely able to get to his fields, and when he got there, a lot of the coffee was broken and trees down. So there's a lot of infrastructure damage. As it relates to crop loss, we think it is somewhere in the region of maybe 15 to 20%. Jack Ross said 10 to 15. But the problem that you have is that the real test is going to come in 2 months, because maybe some of the trees may be twisted, and then once it starts bearing there and it comes under pressure, you could have a problem. Infrastructure damage was colossal in terms of roads, maybe 50-60%. Electricity and communication. Like I'm talking to you now, we still have not been restored with the usual landline from Digicel and from Cable and Wireless, but we have some, Wi-Fi. We can talk on WhatsApp. The lights went July 3, and I want to commend Winsome Column. She has been very, very cooperative. I reached out to her, and she has steadily through her team, restoring districts by districts, and for that we give thanks. At Mavis Bank, we have had to operate on generators, and the cost to run the generators, is 10 times your normal electricity bills.
Oh no.
So you can see that there is the cost there is tremendous. But Sir Malcolm, we're giving thanks we have life.
Yes.
So it's been tough. Some of the areas still don't have lights, like up in Light and Westfield, they still don't have lights. Some areas in Mount Charles, but people are quietly building back, and we're reaching out to JPS when once we get the report, we share the report numbers. At the factory itself, there were not a lot of infrastructure losses because we did a lot of precaution. I take these things very seriously, so we really battened down and we did what we needed to do, secure the inventories. But I think my only concern is what is happened to our 5,000 farmers out there. And I just want to really salute them, the coffee farmers. I know they're going through rough times. I was out in Portland on Tuesday, meeting farmers, hearing some of their concern. And Sir Malcolm, I left very depressed because you're not able to respond to all of the needs, but the needs are very, very great. But the spirit of our farmers, the spirit of our rural people, are to be saluted, and we're hanging in there.
How hopeful are you on the subject of a favorable turnaround?
Well, we are having a meeting on the 31st, I think, with Chakra, which is a joint meeting, and where we will look at, two specific issues: the whole impact of the hurricane and how we can engage in a very structured way the Ministry of Agriculture for an intervention. So Chakra has floated a number of 200 million in terms of crop losses. Quite frankly, based on my going around estimates that I'm seeing, now that I'm getting the calls, now that some of the roads are clearing and you can go in and visit some of the farmers, to me that number looks more like about 3 or 350 million. So we know, I heard the minister got 700 million for the intervention for the entire sector. We have engaged Minister Green as it relates to a $1 billion over 5 years, which is an injection of 200 million per year for coffee farmers, which is Blue Mountain coffee farmers, non-Blue Mountain coffee farmers, in the supply of seedlings, fertilizer, other inputs, training, building capacity, to an extent, some support for roads. I think what we intend to do is to engage the minister to see if he can get that first tranche of $200 million released within a reasonable time, so that it can have some impact on the whole bill back process.
We're gonna have to come back to you. We'll give you an opportunity to just wrap in a sentence or two, but go ahead.
So really, Mr. Malcolm, we are all thanking God that our lives have been spared. There are some critical things to do from lessons learned. I think what is required now, is a steady clearing of the roads right through the Blue Mountain, because the new crop 24-25 is going to start August 2. And therefore access is going to be very, very critical. The second thing is the whole issue of lights, for the JPS to go in, restore power And the third thing, is communications. We have gotten so used to, making a call at the dial of our fingers that, to be out of communication for a day or two, it really becomes a strange land. But we have to give God thanks. We have to help each other. We at Mavis Bank, we have reached out to some of our employees who, have had effect, and we are reaching out to see how we can assist them, with a little roofing, etc. We're also going to be dispersing some PEP grants to some of the students whose parents work with us. That's next week. Anticipating the new school year, because it's everybody's a bit confused, and when you really sit down and listen to the requests and the complaint and the situations, and you see the pictures, oh my God, you really, really have to reach out and see how much you can assist.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do this afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Grant, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes, man, and it's always very nice to talk to you, Brother Malcolm.
Likewise. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
18 minutes past 4 o'clock.
With over 40 years of record service, Lock Safe and Vault Limited is your trusted security provider.
attention to?
Sure. With respect to deep sea mining, there's quite a bit of material now, and if you are in support of the government basically sticking a pin on this industry and letting us learn more about it, you can go to defendthedeep.org and you can actually write, it's a preset message and you can select your country and you can press send and you can let your voice be heard. The fact is, it's not a far off thing. Deep sea mining is an imminent threat. And even though it is going to be mining in international waters in the Pacific, that's just the start. These are metals and minerals that are found in other parts of the ocean, even closer to the Caribbean. And if we're concerned about what happens in the Pacific, we need to be even more concerned if the industry opens up and it puts the Caribbean even further at risk. So I would say to your listeners to learn more, and if they are interested, they can go to defendthedeep.org and ask for the government of Jamaica to join in the call for a moratorium.
Thank you very much for the work that you continue to do in this field, Dr. Rodriguez Moody. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Take care. Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, Chief Executive Officer of JET, Jamaica Environment Trust, sharing her thoughts with us on deep sea mining and related matters. And so the SOA, Caribbean and JET hosting this session, deep concerns about the deep sea. There's more after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:31 on Power 106.
At Barry's Hardware, we believe in quality, affordability, and value for money. We have all you need in building and hardware supplies: sand, gravel, cement, lumber, electrical and plumbing supplies, paints and conduits, wires, and more. Barry's Hardware, 15 Chandos Place, Kingston 6. Call 876-927-1849 or 876-977-4529.
Big Money Bingo! It's here again when the RG Arena Netballers present Big Money Bingo with Winston Casanova. Win big cash prizes of $100,000 from our sponsors: Karen Joyce Pharmacy, Right Diamond Funeral Services and Supplies, Affirm Ambulance Service, Globe Scope Travel Vacations, and 876 Nurses. Prizes and surprises from Gals Manufacturing Building, the Educational Network. Get your tickets now at RG Arena 32 Lyndhurst Road and the Cleaner Company for only $1,500.
6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live to declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You're on the dark side.
Are roads a major concern? What about those drains that are in need of repair or cleaning? Who's responsible for repairing my road and when will it be done? Join us this and every Tuesday morning at 8 during Morning Agenda as we travel on our roads with the National Works Agency and get answers to these and other concerns. You're welcome to visit their website at www.nwa.gov.jm. See the tender notices link for projects to be undertaken. You may also call them toll free at 1-888-429-5NWA. That's 1-888-429-5692. Or follow them on Twitter at NWA_JA and Facebook at www.facebook.com/NWA Jamaica. The National Works Agency, developing safe, reliable, and quality roads. Join us every Sunday for Indian Talent on Parade with Dr. Winston Tolan from 5 to 6 p.m. Listen and learn all you need to know about the Indian community, culture, and music. That's Indian Talent on Parade with Dr. Winston Tolan, 5 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, right here on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Okay, so 4:45.
And a number of students who wish to travel and study abroad, the institutions overseas request from them a score for successfully passing that particular exam. So the role of the OUC is to set standards and to administer local and international exams for candidates who are to be tested here in Jamaica.
Yeah. And what are the steps for candidates to register for CXC exams through?
Very simple
Mhm.
process.
Okay.
They can either visit our Kingston or Montego Bay offices. Our Kingston office is located at 6 Manhattan Road, and that's just above the Michael University College on Manhattan Road. They can visit that office, or if they're in Montego Bay, they can visit 18 Queens Drive, Praise Concourse Plaza. And when they go to the office, they can speak to a representative requesting an application form, or they can go to our website at www.overseasexams.org. They can go there and download the application form. So once they've completed their application form and they wish to pay at the office, we'll accept a credit or a debit card in office. However, they can pay via cash by filling out a bank voucher, making the payment at any Scotia bank, take back the receipt to us along the completed application form, and then we will begin the registration process. Thereafter, we would also give them a date for verification to just complete the registration process to ensure all their biodata and so on are accurate. But there's another easy process as well. They can also make the payment via Bill Express. So there's a Bill Express account number that will be listed on the application form as well. So we're trying to provide various options to make it easy for candidates to register.
Which professional exams and certifications are available through the Overseas Examinations Commission?
Well, we have the ACCA, which is for chartered accountants. We have that professional exam that is sat here. We proctor that exam. It's a computer-based exam. And we do that here. We also do the project management. We do the BMAT exam as well. And a few other highly professional exams, even in the medical field, where the examination bodies are in the UK. We facilitate those exams here at the OEC. So if persons are interested, they can reach out to us and find out what international or professional exams we administer here. So one of our slogans or hashtag is that we are the examination hub. So when it comes on to international exams, you're studying here locally, but your institution is overseas, the likelihood is that the exam can be sat here at the OEC and under our supervision and administration.
And I take it that you and members of your team will be at the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Back to School Bazaar.
That's correct. So, of course, we're the business of education. So anything school related, educational related, we're in the midst of that. So we're happy to be a part of the bazaar, to interact with the general public, to provide them with information and give them some details on the various services that we offer. So, for example, Hurricane Beryl destroyed quite a number of homes, and persons would have lost their CSEC certificates and their transcripts and so on. We offer transcript request service. We offer certificate replacement service and a certificate amendment service. So we want persons to be reminded that we are the point of contact to have some of these matters resolved.
Are there particular plans or initiatives in store for the future, so to speak?
Yes, we have a lot of activities planned. So presently we're working on a school tour, which we would like to roll out in the upcoming academic year. So we want to engage with students to remind them that there are opportunities for them to sit professional exams or to sit an additional ESEC subject or two, because, as we know, there are some limitations at some schools in terms of subjects that you can sit. And we want them to know that if they need their transcripts for job applications, to attend various institutions, they can request that through the OEC. So we want to engage with our students and inform them. So we have that coming up. And as I mentioned, this year we're going to be celebrating 137 years. So we have that going. And to mention that we also have our own talk show. It's called Piccadilly Talk. It's an educational talk show that focuses on current matters in education and educational development and trends in this new age. And so we're going to be launching season 3 on the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica in September. So that's a big thing for us as well.
What a thing! You sounds like you have your hands full.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
But you are doing more than just coping, aren't you?
Indeed, we're actually doing it. We're applying ourselves. We're getting it done. The thing is, we believe in Jamaica. We believe in our students, and we're doing the very best that we can to provide a service that will enable them to achieve their goals.
Excellent. Congratulations to you and your team. And we look forward to a successful experience at the RGR Gleaner Communications Group Back to School Bazaar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Crystal Daly Thompson, Director of Marketing and Customer Relations at the Overseas Examinations Commission, the OEC, celebrating 137 years. My goodness. And we are happy to be able to share that story here on both sides of the story. Paro 106 FM. Thank you so much. All the success to you. And we look forward to talking with you again.
Most definitely.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are almost there in terms of wrapping today's edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Can we thank you once again for the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Thursday, the 25th of July, 2024. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5, and sounds like it's going to be another busy day. And all things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care. Take care.
Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Focus during both sides of the story was brought to you by Barry's Hardware, Patients First Pharmacy, Total Vision, and Lock, Safe and Vault.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Hi. Hi.
Government says it will need some 10